In the world of creative writing, I've learned that there are two kinds of people that exist. The person that's always known what they wanted to write about their whole life, and the person that's still figuring it out. If you're that last person, then this is the video for you. In this video, we're going to cover the top 5 best-selling children's book themes for you to consider as you're writing your children's book, as well as some things to be wary of as you're considering trends to capitalize on in your book. Because of course, we want to make sure that we're selling a book that is going to be really profitable, but we also want to make sure that the topic that we're covering is relevant to our target audience. So let's dive into it. This video is not meant to be these are the only topics that will be bestsellers if you want to write a good picture book. That is not what this is. This, I hope, as you're watching it and you're taking your notes, are just some suggestions for you if you're really indecisive about what you want to do, or if you already have a budding idea, but you may want to frame it in a certain way to make it more tailored towards your target audience. These are just suggestions. These are not the end-all be-alls, but these are things to keep in mind as you're working on your children's book and considering the themes and goals that you have for yourself as an author. If your goal is to be a #1 bestseller, then maybe you want to capitalize on these trendy topics that are always on the top of children's book lists. So now that we have the distinction there, and you know I'm not telling you what the only options are, and I'm only giving you suggestions, let's dive into the top 5 best-selling children's book themes for you to keep in mind as you're writing your book. #1, holidays. Whether you're thinking about doing a book set in Christmas time, Halloween time, Easter time, Kwanzaa, Juneteenth, whatever you're considering, choosing holidays as whether the focal point of the overall story or just a background setting can be really good for kids because one, they understand holidays, they understand what happens during the holidays, and they can have a lot of opportunities to really see themselves in the story, especially when it comes to the actions or emotions that the main character may be feeling. And it's also just a really good time to just provide education about different holidays that they may not be exposed to, but they can notice again those similarities between them. And also it's important to consider on the back end, as the author, how profitable it is for you to have a book set during the holidays so that you know guaranteed during certain holiday seasons that your book is always going to be selling really well during December or during October. I know for me personally, with my children's book, my very first book is about a young girl with her father, and it really just highlights the relationship between those two. So of course, for me, it was really important to capitalize on Father's Day when it came to the release timing of my book to be before June, so that way people could buy it for their kids in the month of June, and also just making sure that it was a good Father's Day gift. And all those different things, I kept that into consideration as I was writing my book, doing my marketing and book launch and all those good things. Because even though it's not explicitly a Father's Day book, I was able to market it as such because it was about a father-daughter relationship. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So never scoot over a holiday if you can find some way to make it work and connect with your overall theme without it being super gimmicky. #2, now this theme may not be for everyone, but it is an undeniable fact. Farm. Okay, hear me out. Farm, animals, anything like that can be like a big focal point for kids is going to help your book become a good seller and really be eye-catching to kids. Here's what I want you to consider before you immediately dismiss me about the whole farm thing, because I too am not an animal person, barely like going to the zoo. But again, thinking about the fact that your target audience for your picture book is going to be a child, 0 to 8 years old. Something we do with kids from the very beginning, we talk to them or we teach them language through animal noises. You know, we say the cow goes moo, the dog goes bark. They know those certain things very early on before they can even say a lot of words. They can do animal noises. And so because of that, again, because of their age range, because of what they know, they are really drawn and they gravitate to animal-themed books, farm-themed books, because they are introducing animals at such a young age. It's probably one of the subject points that they're most confident in. So I'm not saying change your main character from a human being into a dog, but if there's some way that you can incorporate animals into the story, even if that's just in the background, it could be really engaging for kids. But you could also put your story on a farm. Hey, I don't know what you're writing, but I know it's really good. The third theme I want you to keep in mind is considering milestone moments. What do I mean by that? Essentially, again, I'm going to keep saying this during this video, and I hope that this is what you write down and you highlight the most. Kids are learning through books. They have very limited experiences. And so having a book that focuses on a milestone moment that they are going to grow into, that they all have to experience for the first time, your book could be that tool for them to learn how to handle those things that they may not know how to do. So think about your milestone moments like this book up here, School's First Day of School. A milestone moment is that first day of school. What is it like to go to kindergarten? A milestone moment is learning how to use the bathroom, or you have a new sibling coming home. How do you deal with that? You get a new dog. All those new first time experiences that a kid would have, those are milestone books. And for the same reason as a holiday, those can also have a good moment for you as the author to make a profit, because every parent has to teach their child how to navigate through a new experience. And so what better way than to use a book and to use a story to help a child understand that, hey, you're going to be a big sister one day, or hey, you're getting ready to go to school by yourself without mom and dad there, but I know you can do it. Let's talk about it through this book. So definitely consider how you can incorporate a milestone moment into your book. The other theme I want you to know, theme number 4, is consider how your book could possibly be an ABC book. Now, again, this depends on what age range of that 0 to 8 that you want to hit, right? Because ABC books, we of course think about for the more younger age of like that 0 to 3, they're learning the ABCs, right? But don't undercut that. The same reason that we were talking about with the farm, right? They're still learning. They're still learning so many different things. And so what better way than to have an ABC book that can introduce them to maybe not just the regular ABCs, but the ABCs with a certain subset like STEAM or a certain cultural background. Like I know there's a really great book called The ABCs of Black History. Really great, phenomenal. And I've read that with, I think I read it up to at least a 5th grader sometimes. And that's just an ABC book. That's really cool, but it's centered around Black history. And so that way they're able to learn about Black history through the lens of ABCs, because again, they are learning their ABCs since they're a kid. They're really familiar with that topic and they're familiar with how that goes. So again, not saying you need to take away the whole dialogue, conflict resolution that you already have planned out in your story, but consider how it could possibly be an ABC story, because that is something that, again, parents are looking for as they're learning how to teach their kids the alphabet, but you also could use that as an easy vehicle to teach them about a different subject. If you want to write about a certain career, to expose kids to that, or just different cultures and different things of that nature. So just like the farm, don't sleep on the ABC alphabet theme book category. The last theme that I want to hit on for this video is something that I think we sleep on. You'll get the joke in a second. Bedtimes. Did you get the joke? Okay, I'll add in like a laugh track or something here. But for the same reason we're talking about the farm or the ABC books or the milestone moments, right? From birth, kids are introduced to it's time to go to bed. They are introduced to having a bedtime routine and all those good things. And, you know, some parents really take that bedtime routine very seriously, and reading is a consistent part of that. And so what better way than to have a book that is about bedtime to really get kids excited, ready to go to bed, brush their teeth, and all those good things, because they see their favorite main character doing it. And they see their favorite main character doing flossing or all the different things. And again, it's something that they have experience with, that they recognize and understand, because they themselves have been doing it since they were born. Day one, they've been going to bed. And so it may seem like a boring book, but it's reflective of their life. Books should be mirrors, windows, and doorways to the diverse world around them. And so what better mirror than to have a book about how to go to bed, and, you know, maybe the kids in the story battle a monster before they go to bed, or maybe they are getting into an argument over something and the parent has to teach them conflict resolution. There's so many different ways you can make a bedtime story really fun and engaging. So like I said earlier, don't sleep on doing that bedtime story theme. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because whether you have an idea for a book or not, it's always important to keep in mind the topic that you're going to select as the focus of your book, especially when it comes to picture books. Because picture books are typically for ages, I would say 0 in terms of like 3 months-year-olds, 6 months, and up to around 8, 9, 10, like that 8, 9 area really when it comes to kids, because they're weaning off of picture books to go into chapter books or early readers. And so that is a really pivotal age range and time to really expose kids to a lot of new information. But that also comes with the caveat that because they are kids who are reading books and because they have limited life experiences, they won't know a lot of different things. So yes, on one hand, your book could introduce them to something that they have never seen before or experienced before. But that also could be a negative depending on what you're talking about, because depending on if they have an adult with them while they're reading the book, they may not understand what's going on. They may not understand it in terms of the words or the overall storyline, because again, they have limited experience from just 0 to 8 years old. So keep that in mind as you're selecting your topic, whether you want to select one of the options that I gave off in this list, or you want to choose your own and make sure you're using kid-appropriate languages and that you are using illustrations and different things that are going to help explain what's going on. Always keep in mind that a child will have to read this book either by themselves or with an adult, and they need to be able to understand what's going on with their limited experience, limited vocabulary, but their infinite heart to learn and grow. So if you like what you heard in this video and you want more tips, tricks, and lessons to help you along your author's journey, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a video, because every story is worth sharing, especially yours. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.